17-13, Mazz.
6 shutouts.
What's going on?
6 shutouts.
What's happening?
6 shutouts.
That's it?
They had 5 all last season. The entire effing season, they had 5. Now they have 6. So, look, there are a lot of angles to this team at the moment when you look at them, and it's easy to dump on them for lots of reasons, including ownership, all of it. And so, no one's protected in terms of what's gone on over the last 5 years. However, and this is shooting fish in a barrel, but doesn't the Chaim Bloom era look worse and worse every time you look at it?
Explain.
So, the whole point they brought Chaim Bloom here was to find cheap pitching because it was out there and other teams were doing it, and find a way to pitch cheaply and pitch effectively while you're rebuilding and you can go out and win games. That was the whole idea. It's what Tampa is built on. The whole thing is built on that. How is it that all of a sudden Chaim Bloom is gone and now all of a sudden they're the best pitching organization in the game? They ranked number 1 in the major leagues in ERA. Number 1 in starting pitching. Tanner Houck overnight, since Bloom left, has become an ace and one of the best pitchers in the game. Cutter Crawford's excelling. Brian Bayo's pitching well. There are some injuries. I
was just going to say, aren't their arms all falling off?
Okay, which is all, and yet they still win. Cooper Criswell, of all people, went out there and beat the Giants last night. 2 games in a row now that he has pitched well. So they are making chicken salad out of chicken crap. 100%. How come this didn't happen when Bloom was here? So I guess what I'm saying is this. Just because, and again, let me make this clear. The Red Sox need to spend more money. There is no excuse for them having the 4 years that they had, or 5 years if you count 2019. They have the capacity to be better than they've been every single season for the last 5 years, with the possible exception of 21. Okay? Fact. Can we also now agree that Chaim Bloom kind of sucked at this?
Kind of.
So it wasn't just the ownership. It was also the kinds of players they were bringing in, not all of which were complete failures, which I'll get to in a minute, but nonetheless, the kinds of players that they were bringing in. Franchi Cordero didn't have a position. They had no defense at shortstop. They had Jarren Duran wasn't ready to play center field. They put lots of guys in positions where they were set up to fail.
Well, the pitching's the big one.
Definitely. But since that time, for example, I'll give you an easy one right now.
Franchi Cordero.
Okay, right. But see, right, he doesn't just belong on the field. He's a DH. Yeah. He's a DH. Yoshida is a DH. And this Ceddanne Rafaela going in to play shortstop now after Story left, I'm not sure what would have happened under Bloom. I think Cora fought for it, but he won. I think he went to Breslow and said, we got to take Rafael out of center field. We have no one else that can play the position. It's killing us. They're now 7-4 with Rafael at shortstop this year as a starter. One of those was early. In the stint, the most recent stint, they started him there 10 games ago. Now they're 7-3. So I guess what I'm saying is the balance of long-term to short-term has at least moved a little bit. It's not all the way where it needs to be, but it's moved a little bit. And so they put more emphasis on the now and winning now, at least with the development of the pitching and some of the defensive choices. And they don't suck as bad as they used to. I'm not telling you they're great, by the way, so I'm not buying on that. But they're playing well. They're pitching well.
Are you saying they're trying to put some pieces into place as
well? They
are.
There's some of that. Again, Houck's a big one, Mike, because if you have an ace at the front end of the rotation. And again,
we're going ace now?
Well, he's pitched like one. He has. He's pitched like one. He looks like a different guy to me. I think he's completely different. The number of pitches he's thrown in the strike zone is ridiculous. So I want to know who to give credit for, or credit to for it, because he clearly worked during the winter on changing his delivery. That did not happen in spring training. It doesn't happen that fast. No way. So, and I don't know how much Bailey had to do with that or not, but he's a different guy. And Bloom does factor into this one. Wilyer Abreu can play. He had a double and a triple last night. He's got an on-base of almost 400. He's knocked in a lot of runs. He's hit consistently since he's been in the big leagues.
How'd they get him again?
He was a Bloom deal.
Okay.
Christian Vasquez for Abreu and Valdez. And Valdez can't play defense, but I would argue that Valdez was, the more Bloomish of the two players. And a year ago, there were whispers that Abreu was a guy that Cora wanted. and that put in a word for Abreu, and that we got to get this guy, and they got him in the deal. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's not true. I'm just telling you, I will still give Bloom credit for it because he's the GM and they got the player in his tenure. But Abreu's an everyday big leaguer. Their pitching is coming around. They have Rafaela defensively can play in the big leagues. And now you have three, Marcelo Myers playing well again at Double-A. So there are some of these tumblers that are falling into place a little bit so that you can at least start to see, okay, maybe there's something in the future that is a little bit of a positive.
Listen to Mazz here.
I know. How's this make you feel?
I'm just trying to tell you what
17 and 30, all 4 games over 500. All of a sudden,
I was expecting 11 and 19.
11-teen.
We got Rochi over here. All of a sudden.
No, not really. Don't kid yourself. I'm just telling you that 6 shutouts in 30 games is pretty good.
Who still deserves to be put on notice?
Who deserves to be put on ownership?
Well, besides that, after this weekend series with Chicago.
How about the fans?
Oh, my God, please don't get me going on this.
No, please.
I said to you off the air the other day.
Get going.
The home run from the Cubs game the other night where the Cubs fans overtook Fenway Park, and we played the audio earlier. That whole thing with,
the 3-run homer that tied it in the 8th.
Right, which again, and it wasn't just that. It was the fact that there were Cubs fans oozing out of Fenway Park after every one of those games, as there were last season when it was the Texas Rangers in town or the Los Angeles Dodgers in town or New York in town. It didn't matter. It's the same thing. And so the most common refrain I hear all the time is, yeah, Mazz, I'm not going to pay for tickets if they suck. Fine. No problem. I'm not telling you not to go or to go. You can do whatever the hell you want. But if you hear them singing Sweet Caroline in the ballpark, or you can't bitch about the Pink Hats and also not be at the ballpark, or you can't bitch about the fact that other fans are overrunning the stadium if you're pissed at the team. So this whole notion of Boston as the best baseball fans in America is a freaking myth.
Well, not anymore.
It's a myth. The reality is the St. Louis probably has the best baseball fans in the country because they're more loyal. And I'm not telling you that you should be loyal. You be whatever the hell you want to be. But if you were the best and most loyal baseball fans in the country, Cubs fans wouldn't come in here and overrun your ballpark in early April or early season. It wouldn't happen. There is a fan component to that story is what I'm getting at. Between all the winning and then the following of the last place finishes and everything else, people did get spoiled. They got spoiled. And ownership has half-assed it and management has effed it up in terms of putting a competitive product on the field, so you bailed out. Fine. I'm not telling you you're right or wrong to bail out. But if that's going to happen, then you can't get pissed when the other team brings its fans with it and they take over the ballpark like you used to do in every city in America. It sort of goes hand in hand. You either care or you don't. Like, otherwise you are a Pink Hat. That's my only point.
So that's for you out there, Red Sox fan.
Yeah, put it in your pipe and smoke it. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.